Good morning, sunshines. I'm out here today on another beautiful walk. Today we are looking for the elusive dewberry, which is totally new to me. I came across them a couple days ago, maybe a week now, and it looks a lot like a blackberry, so it had me stumped, but it's a lot of fun. So we're on our way looking for those. We're also going to look for other things that may be coming up, so, you know, maybe some green or kind of red colored blackberries, maybe some green blueberries. I'm not sure yet, so we'll just keep our eye out for things to look for next time. Let's go. The dewberry can be hard to differentiate from its rubus cousins. This tender yet woody vine typically trails along the ground, but can also present as a low-growing shrub. The plant has an alternate compound leaf arrangement with mostly 3, but occasionally 5 leaflets per leaf. These leaves are green on the top and a slightly lighter green on the underside. But the most telling difference between the dewberry and the common blackberry are that the flowers and fruits grow more upright and separate, and typically on little individual stems. Always keeping our eye out for things that will be ripe soon. Blueberries. Here's another one to keep your eye out for. This is autumn olive. It'll be ready later this year, and you can tell it has these crazy silvery undersides of their leaves. And everything has tiny spots on it. I don't know if you can see it, but the leaves have tiny spots. Even the fruit has tiny spots. Yeah, this is an invasive one, so I'll do a video as it gets closer, but always mark down your foods you find on your walk for later. Look at these beautiful elderberries. They're easy to spot because the berries stick up. You see them all? I have deemed this one the biggest, most perfect, beautiful dewberry. Therefore, it's really good. We are home and goodies. So I tried to keep them separate today. These are blackberries. Oh, and these are dewberries. Can we tell the difference? I don't think so. Blackberries, dewberries. I don't know. For the taste test, we picked out 2 identical berries. This one is the blackberry. This one is the dewberry. Okay? So, blackberry. I think I got them mixed up because the second one tasted very much so like a blackberry. And the first one kind of had a little bit more of a watery taste. Hold on. So I'm picking 3 random ones from the dewberry pile, and this one I know because I just did it. So dewberries have kind of an almost watery taste. They do have a bit of kind of earthy flavor to them, a tad of sweetness. Yeah, and then 3 random blackberries. Much more pronounced flavor. Tart. And they have the blackberry flavor we all know. Like it's okay, so I would say the dewberry is very mild and a little watery, whereas the blackberry is much more tart and pungent, like, but in a positive way, and has a much more just flavorful like taste to it. So yeah, I don't think the dewberry would do very well making something all on its own, but I think as a mixture it's gonna be perfect, and maybe even yeah, I don't know, like on top of pancakes they would be lovely. Trail snacks are fantastic, but yeah, I'm wondering if adding a little bit of sugar and a little bit of, or sweetener in general, and a little bit of lemon juice, so a little bit of acid, might kind of punch up the flavor a little. But I'm excited to try a bunch of things out. Let's do this. It's been a couple days since my last video, and I had these in the fridge again, just with a little in a jar. And they're perfect. These are the berries, so it's been 4 days. And my berries just sitting in the fridge. So right now I'm gonna wash them. I've decided it's been pouring all week. So unfortunately I wasn't able to go get more so I could do what I wanted to do with them. So we are gonna wash them. Put a little bit of vinegar in this water. Dry them real good, and then put them in the freezer until I do have enough to do everything I want to. We're gonna add just a splash of vinegar, nothing crazy. Get myself a towel. I'm just using my salad spinner since it already has a colander in it. So this, remember, is our dewberries, a few of our random blueberries, and I guess there's a couple black raspberries in here too. Can't complain about that. I know I keep saying it's the end of the season, but then I just find a few more and I can't help myself. I always use a dark towel for this because, as we know, blackberries of any kind stain. So We know to get them real dry, because if you don't, then ice crystals will form on them. And that'll just shorten their frozen life a little. So I just move them around a little bit until they seem nice and dry. This is just a sheet pan with a one of those silicone Silpat type things on there. It's not necessary because they don't really stick, but just spread them as evenly as you can, not touching too many other berries. Throw these in the freezer. I usually do it overnight, and then I put them in a Ziploc bag, and they freeze really, really well like that. So it has been overnight, and our berries are frozen solid. I like to freeze them this way because they stay separated in the freezer when I just want a handful for a smoothie, or if I want to add them to, well, pretty much anything, like a pound cake or a crisp. So all I'm gonna do is put these in a Ziploc bag, label them, put them back in the freezer, and they'll be good for about 6 months. After that, they'll just kind of lose flavor and taste a little bit watery. I mean, you can still use them. I have some old wine berries that are exactly a year old now. And they're just not as flavorful, but they're totally still fine. So, yeah. Here are all of the dewberries and blackberries we collected today. We've got about 2 cups. There's also a few random blueberries in there. And then these ones are additional blackberries we got while camping this weekend. They've been stored in these jars, and they'll stay in here for about 3 or 4 days with no negative impact on them. But after that, they start to get soft and sometimes a little moldy because they are wild food and they're really moist. So now we're gonna wash them, and I do this pretty simply. I just spray them with water. Then I mix them around with my hands, kind of trying to dislodge any debris or maybe even a bug or two. And then I just lightly drain them. We have 3 cups of mixed berries that have been rinsed and drained. We're gonna put that in a heavy bottom pot over medium heat. As the berries start getting warm, we're just gonna mash them with a potato masher. The heat will release the juices, and this is just gonna break the flesh up. So right now I am gonna make a sugar-free option, but you can do exactly the same with exactly the same measurements and just use cane sugar. Okay, so this is a good texture. I'm actually typically kind of a jelly person, or I would like strain out all these seeds. But my goal here is actually make kind of like a compote that I would add to things like yogurt or spoon on top of ice cream. Trying to keep it as healthy and natural. There we go, you see the bubbles? It's starting. So to the pot, I'm gonna add just a 1/4 cup of sweetener to start. So I'm doing 2 tablespoons of monkfruit sweetener and 2 tablespoons of allulose. I'm gonna just give this a taste for sweetness. Oh, it's really good. Excellent. You can also add vanilla to your taste. To this amount, maybe a 1/2 teaspoon. I'm not gonna do that. I just really want it to taste like berries. But I'm gonna bring this to a good hard boil, kind of get those natural sugars. There we go. So this is about 2 cups of liquid. So I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup or 4 tablespoons of chia seeds to this. And 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And stir that up real good. So I'm gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna stir it again, and then sit for 10 minutes, and then stir it one last time. It's been 20 minutes. I have stirred it twice. Look at that great line left in the pan when you swoosh a spatula through it. That means it's ready. You can taste it. See if it needs any extra sweetener. I would maybe add another tablespoon or 2 of sweetener to this. If you want it more of a typical jam or jelly flavor and sweetness. This will thicken up a little bit more in the fridge as the chia seeds bulk out a little more, but I like it. So I'm gonna put it in 3 little jelly jars. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I might need to get a 4th one, but I'm gonna try to put 2 of these into the freezer because being sugar-free and no added pectin and no extra stabilizers or anything, this is really fresh, so I wouldn't expect it to last more than about a week in the fridge. I'm actually not going to use that tiny one. I'll use this big one. So I'm going to put these little jars in the freezer and just pull them out when I'm ready for them. After labeling them, put them in the freezer for future use. In all fairness, I have to admit that the dewberry is actually basically a blackberry. It is a different species and it does grow in different ways, but it is a rubus species, which we've talked about before. But even my native shrubs, Virginia Native Shrubs and Vines book, lumps them together and says blackberry fruits are a favorite of people, birds, and other wildlife, and the most common Virginia species are the Pennsylvania blackberry, the common dewberry, and the swamp or bristly dewberry. So there you go. They're the same, but technically different, and that just makes me laugh. So I just wanted to have a quick little sample of my jam here with you. I'm gonna cheat and put it on a little bit of cream cheese and on a little bit of cracker here. This is a really good way to eat this. I will say that if you do not like seeds in your jam, this is not for you. Between the chia seeds and the unstrained dewberry and blackberry seeds, it's very seedy. I think that's actually really good for you. I think it's good for your teeth. I think it's good for your digestion. I like this. But if you're not a seeds person, you might want to strain it and make it with typical pectin. Yeah, it has good flavor, very berry. This one's not sweet like I told you. I kept the nice tart flavor to the berries themselves, and yeah. I hope you go out there and find great things and add some feral items to your pantry and enjoy nature, and I hope you have the best day.